Tonight, another business affected by the second shutdown in San Diego County, card rooms. Our team coverage continues now with Fox 5's Jacqueline Sarkeesian, who got a rare inside look at one in Chula Vista. She joins us live from 7 Mile Casino with the story. Jacqueline.
Kathleen, we're just outside of this card room, but let's show you what it looks like inside. It's a much different picture than what we normally see inside of this card room. Normally, well, this place would be jam-packed with people playing all different types of games. But as you can see, this place is completely empty, and that's due to COVID-19.
It was a tough one to swallow, but if it's about the public health, we understand, but at the same time, hard.
There aren't too many in town, but card rooms like 7 Mile and Chula Vista are dealing with a second shutdown, an order not directed to all casino operations.
The fundamental difference between a California card room and a casino is that we only have card games. We don't have slot machines or any other games of chance.
Brad Samuel is the head of marketing for the gaming establishment. He says the company put in a tremendous amount of work to reopen after they were first shut down in March.
Please align your face.
Safety measures start before someone even steps foot inside the card room. There were hand washing stations, temperature checks, and every employee and customer must be wearing a mask at all times.
When you did sit down to play cards, everyone was socially distanced, or we had the plexiglass dividers that you just mentioned. So that level of protection is something that we took very, very seriously.
For the city of Chula Vista, 7 Mile is more than just a card room. According to a city council member here, this business generates over $200,000 in revenue per quarter. So with 7 Mile being closed, it's not only a total bust for the company, but for the city as well.
If this card room stays closed for a long period of time, it can equate to 3 firefighters that may have to lose positions because there's no funding there. And that equates to public safety.
Councilmember Mike Diaz realizes card rooms have been dealt a bad hand, which is why he's cashing in his chips to help get 7 Mile back on its feet.
A card room like this at the local city level does so much for the community, and that's why I'm here, is because they are just a great partner for our community right here in the city of Chula Vista.
Now, only card rooms in certain counties have been ordered to shut down. That does not include any tribal casinos. This week, the California Gaming Association wrote a letter to the governor asking him to close all gaming operations. Now, the council member we spoke with says he's also doing a number of different things to help get this card room back up and running. He's contacted the governor several times, as well as other elected officials, both at the state and local levels. Reporting live in Chula Vista, Jacqueline Sarkeesian, Fox 5 News.
All right, interesting report about the revenue it generates. Thank you so much. 3 Harbor police officers have tested positive for coronavirus. A Port of San Diego says the officers are isolated and being treated in their homes. Harbor Police is working to identify people who had close contact with those officers. Meantime, there were 264 new coronavirus cases across the county today, which is 3% of the total tests taken. The county is now nearing 18,000 cases. 7 more deaths were reported today, bringing the total to 406. There have also been 24 community outbreaks in the past 7 days. The county threshold is 7 outbreaks in 7 days. There was also a spike in new hospitalizations at 38 patients, an indicator considered to be a more timely snapshot of what's happening than other metrics. And it's quickly becoming the great school debate. The Trump administration is continuing its push to get students back inside classrooms by the fall, while some governors and health experts are pushing back. Today, President Trump said he is willing to withhold federal funding for schools that refuse to put students back on campus. Members of his administration also backed his calls to reopen.
It's absolutely essential that we get our kids back into classroom for in-person learning.
Ultimately, it's not a matter of if schools should reopen, it's simply a matter of how. They must fully open and they must be fully operational. And how that happens is best left to education and community leaders.
I appreciate their desire to get us back into schools, but I would appreciate their desire to help us figure out how to get back into school.
School reopenings are a state decision, period. That is the law, and that is the way we're going to proceed.
It is unclear what funding the president may try to withhold. Next week, the CDC will release 5 new guidelines, which will include preparing communities to return to school safely and symptom screening considerations for both children and teachers. The president called the current guidelines by the CDC too tough and too expensive. Local schools are working on their plans to reopen by fall, including one that's set to have some kids back in the classroom as early as next week. Fox 5's Andrew Nomura reports from Poway.
Abrexas High School in the Poway School District will be reopening next week, July 16th. It's concerning for some, staff and parents, as the country experiences a surge in coronavirus cases.
We have some students at Abrexas that are at risk or may have had challenges in traditional high school.
Christine Peck with the school district says the campus is a year-round continuation school. Reasons why it has an early reopening schedule. It holds around 200 to 300 students who may need more one-on-one or in-person attention. If parents do choose to send their kids to school, students will be separated in 2 groups with alternating schedules. 2 days of campus learning with 3 days of distance learning. All schools will follow extensive health guidelines to ensure safety.
Temperature taking when students arrive, hand washing built in throughout the day, physical distancing whenever possible, staggering lunch schedules or start times.
In regards to wearing masks, Peck says state health guidelines require staff to wear them. If students can't practice safe social distancing, they too will have to wear one. The rest of the Poway School District will reopen August 19th. For now, we're here in Poway. I'm Andrew Nomura, Fox 5 News.
A second Padres player is tested positive for COVID-19. Fox 5 Sports Director Troy Hirsch joins us with that new information.
And Kathleen, the latest result comes from the newest Padre, infielder Jorge Mateo, whom the Padres just acquired from the Oakland A's at the end of June. The good news, he has not practiced at all with any of the other Padres so far at summer camp.
He has not been to the ballpark for, on the field, locker room, anything like that. He's been self-isolating. Also, probably another thing to mention on that, unlike, Tommy, who was asymptomatic, Jorge has at the beginning had a little bit of loss of smell and taste, although the reports are coming back that the smell and taste is starting to come back to him. So he is feeling a little bit better.
And that is good news for him. And the Tommy that Tingler referenced is outfielder Tommy Pham, who also tested positive. Both players will now need to have 2 negative tests at least 24 hours apart before they can join their teammates at Padres summer camp. Kathleen?
All right, we wish them a speedy recovery. Thank you, Troy. Stimulus payments on a regular basis, the new push by a major group, Plus. New video from a shooting at San Diego Police headquarters where a man slipped out of his handcuffs and took an officer's gun. What the tense gun battle reveals. Then making it count, the move to make sure everyone's voice is heard in the South Bay.
And we've got a heat wave heading our way. Just how high our temperatures will climb coming up.
You're watching the Fox 5 News at 10.
Happy presents a spicy Western. Western with kick. The new spicy Western bacon cheeseburger at Carl's Jr. Feed your happy.
Someone we loved passed from the virus last month. She was a vibrant young woman with a loving family. Some of you may have heard her cheerful voice when you called Rooter Hero Plumbing. Her favorite line was, "How can I make you smile a day?" I knew Stephanie for almost 20 years, and she never missed a chance to make someone smile.
Wildfire season is coming. Preparation season is here. Take control of your energy with a Sunrun rechargeable solar battery system and power through outages. Get started for $1 per month for 6 months.
SDCCU Stop the Bus is collecting money to buy new, unused school supplies for local homeless students in need. Help fill the virtual SDCCU school bus now through July 31st. To learn more about the program and to donate online, visit sdccu.com/donate.
Happy presents a spicy Western. Western gone spicy. The new spicy Western bacon cheeseburger at Carl's Jr. Feed your happy.
2 episodes left. 3 wannabe dads remain.
I never felt so much pressure to get it right.
All new Labor of Love, Thursday on Fox. Or watch anytime on Fox Now or Hulu.
You're watching the Fox 5 News at 10.
San Diego police have identified the officers involved in the shooting of a 25-year-old man who slipped out of his handcuffs and grabbed a gun from the back of a police SUV. The officers heard the commotion and then backed off when they saw Keith Bergman was armed. That's when Bergman fired the weapon at least once. Police returned fire, hitting him at least 3 times. In the video, you can see him get out of the vehicle and try to open the rear hatch. That's when police used a dog to take him into custody. He was taken to the hospital and later booked into county jail upon release. No officers were hurt in the shooting. Police initially arrested him because they say he was threatening security workers. We have put the entire video on our website, fox5sandiego.com. Even amid the coronavirus pandemic, the 2020 census count continues, and census volunteers are taking caravans through the South Bay to reach hard-to-count areas. Fox 5's Liberty Zabala joins us live from Kimball Park in National City with why volunteers say they need to focus on these areas. Liberty.
Well, Kathleen, volunteers say that the South Bay has a very low response rate to the census, and since they can't go knocking on people's doors, they hopped into a caravan to make sure everyone counts. If you heard honking in your neighborhood, it may mean you haven't filled out your census yet.
We want to encourage individuals to complete their census to ensure that we are able to adapt.
$675 billion of federal funds is at stake.
Volunteers say nearly 4 out of 10 households have not yet replied to the 2020 census. They also say National City is one of the communities in the region at risk of not being fully counted.
It happens only once every 10 years, so we need to re-educate our community in participating.
They couldn't knock on doors to reach these so-called hard-to-count areas because of this pandemic, so they drove through the streets instead.
Social distancing right now is being adhered to encourage individuals to wear their face masks today and to really remain in their own cars as well as we continue going out through the community.
Their route focused on landmarks of Filipino and Asian Pacific Islander organizations, including businesses, schools, senior housing, veteran organizations, and churches. They also say Asian and Latino households are often left out of the census because families worry about reporting their citizenship status.
There's also concerns of are they going to ask about citizenship and legality? That is not one of the questions.
But they say an inaccurate count could mean loss of federal funding towards schools, roads, health care, and more.
We all need to be counted so that we can receive federal funds so that affordable housing for older adults is available. Section 8 vouchers are available. Free lunch programs for our kids. Our Head Start preschool program is also federally funded.
And it's also very important to note that you could face a fine of up to $5,000 if you do not fill out the census. You still have time to fill out the census, though, by mail, by phone, and online. For now, live in National City, Liberty Zabala, Fox 5 News.
Liberty, thank you. University of California leaders are planning to sue the Trump administration over its new visa policy for international students. The university system says the federal government violated the rights of its students when it directed ICE to not issue visas to people enrolled in schools that moved to fully online due to the pandemic. Under the rule, those students would have to leave the country or transfer. MIT and Harvard also filed a lawsuit over the policy today. The universities say the move is an attempt to force them to hold in-person classes this fall, but the Trump administration denies that claim.
There isn't a reason for a person holding a student visa to be present in the country. They should go home, and then they can return when the school opens.
MIT and Harvard's lawsuit cites remarks from the acting Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security in which he confirmed the directive does encourage schools to reopen. Happening tomorrow, the Supreme Court is expected to make rulings on two major cases regarding President Trump's financial records. The highly anticipated decisions will determine whether the president must turn over his tax returns and other documents to congressional investigators and New York prosecutors. Tomorrow is the final opinion day of the Supreme Court term. Governor Newsom gave an update today on the state of preparedness in the battle against coronavirus. Newsom said hundreds of healthcare workers are going to skilled nursing facilities, part of a state program to get retired healthcare workers and others with valid licenses to help out.
We did find the need for 741 professionals that helped us with some of our skilled nursing facilities, our adult daycare facilities. They're actually helping us currently with our corrections facilities and providing staffing and expertise, and as well providing alternative care facility personnel support. So that system, the development of this site, California Health Corps site, which, by the way, if you are a professional, you may have retired recently, you may be interested in being supportive as we've seen these numbers increase, I'd encourage you to go to the covid19.ca.gov website to fill out an application as well.
Newsom said he also recently spoke to Vice President Mike Pence about sending more field medical teams to California. And Fox 5 News is just getting started. Much more news ahead. The major Supreme Court ruling affecting health care. Plus, the path to the future, why more local roads could be made out of plastic, and the latest business forced to close hundreds of stores because of the pandemic.
You're watching the Fox 5 News at 10.
Drone 5 is sponsored by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating and Air, Flood and Restoration Services. Bill Howe, providing great service for over 40 years.
Maria Arcega Dunn, Fox 5 News.
A very special Throttle Thursday, how San Diegans are taking a motorcycle ride, all for a great cause.
And it's been cooler, but a heat wave is on the way. Which days will be the hottest?
Plus, if you're spending more time in the sun, here are some top foods to keep your skin healthy.
Starts tomorrow at 4:30.
Phil and Ken taught me.
Phil and Ken taught me.
That we come when it's convenient for you.
7 days a week.
We'll fix your furnace on Christmas.
Water heaters on Mother's Day.
Or AC on 4th of July.
Evenings and weekends, never an extra charge.
That's white glove service.
If your credit card debt is out of control, if you're in over your head in monthly payments, there's a secret the credit card companies don't want you to know. If you have more than $10,000 in credit card debt, you have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. That's bad news for the credit card companies, but it's great news for you. We're Credit Associates, and we're offering you free information on how to completely resolve your credit card debt with a monthly payment you can afford. To see how much you could save, call now. 1-800-919-1278. Don't declare bankruptcy. Don't consolidate. Give us 10 minutes and we could save you thousands. After all, we depend on your success and offer a guarantee so there's no risk to call. Credit Associates. Live better, debt-free. Find out how easy it is by calling now. For the secret the credit card companies don't want you to know, call Credit Associates now and see how much money you could save for free. Call 1-800-919-1278.
Don't miss the sizzling summer savings at Rock and Block Hardscape Supply this month.
We have all the hot products you need to create your dream yard, like pavers, flagstone, and more.
Beat the heat, get great deals at Rock and Block Hardscape Supply.
In El Cajon.
Keeping wildlife safe. That's what we've done for over 100 years. It's helped make us world famous. So as we reopen, you can count on us to keep you safe too. It's our mission, and every time you visit us, you're helping create a safer world for all species too. Imagine all that we can do to protect wildlife, not just here, but across the globe. The San Diego Zoo is now open. Welcome back to Wonder.
Wise men say.
You know what might help? A little less. Whoa, dude, where's my car?
Watch 2.5 Men, weeknight on Fox 5. You're watching the Fox 5 News at 10.
A number of economists are calling on the government to give recurring stimulus payments to Americans hurting from the economic impacts of coronavirus. The group called the Economic Security Project is asking for more unemployment benefits and more money for state and local governments. They did not suggest a specific dollar amount, but did say the amount could be modified depending on the economic situation in the U.S. Bed Bath & Beyond plans to permanently close roughly 200 stores. Taking place over the next 2 years, this amounts to 20% of their stores. Just like many other retailers, Bed Bath & Beyond was forced to temporarily close because of coronavirus. The company says they will save between $250 and $350 million a year. They have not identified which of the 200 stores will be closing yet. And two major decisions from the nation's highest court, how they could impact you. Plus,
you're coming close to me. You're coming close to me.
Mad over masks. What caused this man to go off? Then President Trump celebrating the new trade deal with Mexico and Canada today, but the pandemic could have a negative impact on it. And paving the way for the future, how a local 17-year-old's idea for plastic roads could soon spread statewide.
And an excessive heat warning for some parts of the county going into effect. I'll let you know where and when coming up.
SDCCU.com presents today's market update. You're watching the Fox 5 News at 10.
Sharp Mary Birch, San Diego's one-of-a-kind maternity hospital.
Here are the facts. During the last school year, more than 22,000 students were identified as homeless in San Diego County. This year, more than ever, we need your help. SDCCU is partnering with the San Diego County Office of Education to collect money to buy new, unused school supplies for local students in need. Help fill the virtual SDCCU school bus now through July 31st. To learn more about the program and to donate online, visit sdccu.com/donate.
When looking for a TV and internet provider, we know you have a choice. This is Jessica. She still has satellite TV.
Well, I get tons of HD.
Spectrum has tons of HD. And we get exclusive access to premium original content with Spectrum Originals.
I don't have that. Plus, sometimes in the rain, our services go out.
Because of the dish on your roof?
Get Spectrum TV from $44.99 a month. Call 833-929-4499.
And Spectrum Internet starts at 200 megabits with no data caps and a free modem.
We have to get internet from another company, and it isn't nearly as fast.
Spectrum Internet, $44.99 a month.
I'd switch, but I'm stuck in a contract and would have to pay up to $480 to cancel.
Spectrum has no contracts, and they'll pay up to $500 to help you out of yours.
That's it. I'm switching to Spectrum.
Get Spectrum TV and internet from $44.99 a month each. Call 833-929-4499.
Someone we loved passed from the virus last month. She was a vibrant young woman with a loving family. Some of you may have heard her cheerful voice when you called Rooter Hero Plumbing. Her favorite line was, "How can I make you smile today?" I knew Stephanie for almost 20 years, and she never missed a chance to make someone smile.
People are still buying homes, even now. In fact, San Diego area home prices are up over last year. Your local Redfin agent will price your home right, so you sell for more than the one next door. Redfin is America's #1 brokerage site, so we get your home in front of more buyers. And we make it shine online with an interactive 3D walkthrough. Buyers can get a closer look by booking a tour, in person or via video chat, all for a 1% listing fee when you sell and buy with us. Go to redfin.com to book a free consultation.
Insurance said my accident case was only worth $2,000, but I called the Barnes firm and got nearly $900,000 more.
They got me $550,000 more. I'm Steve Barnes. Is your accident case worth more than the insurance company says? Call us. You might be surprised.
I called. The Barnes firm got me $600,000.
What's your case really worth? Call us now and find out for free.
The Barnes Firm, 1-800-8-million.
Live from San Diego, this is the Fox 5 News at 10.
You're coming close to me. You're coming close to me.
New at 10, a man goes on a tirade, screaming and cursing after a woman asked him to comply with Costco's face covering requirement. This happened in Fort Myers, Florida. Annika Henninger has the story.
You're harassing me.
I'm not harassing.
It's overwhelming.
You're coming close to me. You're coming close to me.
It's angry.
Threaten me again!
It's all at your local Costco.
Back the up, put your phone down.
The person behind the camera told us an elderly woman inside the store asked the man to put on a mask. Costco says you have to wear a face covering at all times inside, employees and shoppers.
Your choice is here. You can wear a mask or you don't go in.
I thought it was pretty messed up since it's a rule. They're just trying to protect their loved ones, so I kind of find it selfish. If he doesn't have his mask on and someone asks him politely, you know.
But the man shooting the video says this man started yelling and harassing the older woman. When he cut in, the man started yelling at him.
Back the up, put your phone down.
The Ted Todd Insurance Agency in Bonita Springs says the man in the video is a former employee. They fired him when social media users alerted them to the video. They say the behavior is in direct conflict with the company values.
The guy didn't want to respect the rules.
A rule.
You're coming close to me.
Unmasking a lot of emotion.
Threaten me again!
Infringing on my civil rights also by not wearing a mask. So they're very self-centered people.
They don't want to bring it back home to their friends or their family, so I think he's in the wrong there, obviously, clearly.
Annika Henninger with that report. Authorities in Fort Myers say they are aware of the incident. We have now surpassed 3 million coronavirus cases in the United States, and more than 132,000 people have died. Today marked the highest daily spike in cases since the pandemic reached our shores, with more than 60,000 new cases reported just today. The U.S. is now averaging about 51,000 new coronavirus cases per day. At least 7 states reported record hospitalization numbers. Places like Arizona and Florida are seeing ICU beds starting to fill up. The White House Coronavirus Task Force is urging states with surging cases to pause and roll back to phase 1.
Use the face coverings, not going to bars, not going to indoor dining, but really not gathering in homes either.
Our medical professionals are already feeling exhausted, asking for reinforcements, and they tell me the worst is yet to come.
The mayor of Phoenix there, Vice President Pence, says additional help is on the way for those states seeing a rise in cases. More than 1,000 doctors, nurses, and medical personnel are being deployed to assist in the hardest hit areas. New at 10, Trump campaign staffer and the girlfriend of Donald Trump Jr., Kimberly Guilfoyle, revealed how she's feeling since testing positive for coronavirus just before President Trump's speech at Mount Rushmore last week.
So yes, on July 3rd, I had, I guess, some fireworks of my own, tested positive allegedly for the coronavirus. And as many of you know, we've lost a lot of lives around the globe to this pandemic. It's a very serious situation. And my heart does go out to each and every one of the families who have been coping and suffering through this. And it's a very trying time, I know, for so many families, and especially those who have lost loved ones and trying to make sense of the virus. I mean, personally, you know, I'm doing my best and following my doctor's orders. So far, I'm asymptomatic and have been feeling really pretty good.
Guilfoyle says President Trump called her to check up on her after hearing about the diagnosis. Meantime, Donald Trump Jr. has reportedly tested negative, but is self-isolating as a precaution.
With today's visit, I've never been more confident that
Today, President Trump and Mexico's president officially recognized the newly formed USMCA trade deal at the White House. But as Fox 5's Trevor Shirley reports, the agreement faces some uncertainty amid the pandemic.
President Trump welcomed Mexico's president to the White House to celebrate the launch of the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross, one of the USMCA's architects, says the pandemic should not hurt the trade deal's rollout.
The USMCA is a long-term agreement. It's not just for the next few months.
But with the Mexican manufacturing sector only working at about 50% because of the coronavirus.
Obviously, at 50%, nobody makes any money.
He admits USMCA's full benefit might arrive more slowly than expected.
So there is a little bit of a time delay.
But some experts, like the R Street Institute trade lawyer Clark Packard, say with or without the pandemic, the USMCA won't change much for most Americans.
USMCA looks a lot like its predecessor agreement, NAFTA. So I don't think you're adding a huge shock to the system right now.
National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien says the pandemic is now playing a major part in the discussions happening today.
The presidents will be talking about coronavirus, how we're responding to it.
O'Brien said much of that will focus on the two countries' economic response.
We're also going to talk about how we get our economies moving again post-corona.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau skipped the event, partly because of the pandemic, along with continued threats by President Trump to put tariffs on Canadian aluminum. Reporting in Washington, I'm Trevor Shirley, Fox 5 News.
The Supreme Court issued several major decisions today, including a change to the Affordable Care Act. The High Court cleared the way for more employers to refuse birth control coverage under Obamacare. In a 7-2 decision, the court says the government cannot decide who can invoke religious and moral objections for covering contraceptives. The religious exception rule lets private employers get exemptions based on a, quote, sincerely held religious belief. And the court also reaffirmed that religious institutions are protected from certain employment discrimination lawsuits. In a 7-2 decision there, the court threw out 2 job bias lawsuits by teachers against their former employers, both religious schools. Writing for the court, Justice Samuel Alito wrote that the First Amendment protects religious institutions in matters of church government, including hiring and firing employees. New at 10, California could lose 1 or 2 congressional seats for the first time ever. Legislative districts are redrawn once a decade based on new census data, and this year's count is difficult to gauge due to the pandemic. A new study from Claremont McKenna College shows Southern California appears to be growing slower than other parts of the country, putting 1 or even 2 House seats in jeopardy. California has never lost a House seat in its 170-year history. Roads made out of plastic. It's great for the environment, and it's already happening here in San Diego. And as Fox 5's Jeff McAdam explains, it's a movement that could take over the state.
With a touch of a button, CEO and President Chris Sparks shows us what could be the future of roads in California.
This is our unit back here for processing, mixing, storage, and bagging.
His company, MacGruber Southern California, makes a product out of 100% waste plastic. They've done about 5 private projects in the San Diego area already.
We're lowering the amount of virgin fossil fuels that we use in asphalt and replacing that same amount with this waste plastic additive to create a stronger, longer lasting road.
Did you know 2/3 of California's plastic actually goes to China? Until 2018, when China said, we're not taking it anymore, and California was left figuring out what to do with all of it.
Yeah, that was one of our focuses, doing something with the plastic. And MacGruber came along, and it was just perfect.
Bryce Garrett was just a junior in high school at Bonita Vista last year when Senator Ben Hueso visited and mentioned the plastic surplus problem. He asked students to come up with a solution. Garrett pointed out what MacGruber was doing with roads and said, why not take it to a bigger scale?
They got a bill introduced to pass the Senate. It's a great bill idea. I know this is going somewhere.
Caltrans now doing a study through 2023, and if it all goes well, Bryce is going to feel pretty good because he helped pave the way.
This seemed like the perfect thing.
Yeah, to give you an idea just how much plastic fits into each one of those smaller bags that they use in this asphalt mix, about 330 plastic bottles per bag, or about 740 plastic bags. From Rancho Bernardo, Jeff McAdam, Fox 5 News.
Well, it's only going to get warmer from here as we work our way toward the weekend. Justina Myers has a look.
You said it, Kathleen. Some parts of the county will be feeling a little like your home state, Arizona. As we look ahead to the weekend, we have got some advisory level heat headed our way. And it's not just us. Everything highlighted in this hot pink color you're seeing will be impacted. So certainly much of Arizona here, parts of Nevada, the southeastern portion of California as well, all under this, an excessive heat warning. For us, it's really our county deserts that are really going to be impacted. That warning taking effect early Saturday, taking us all the way to Monday evening. So we have a few very hot days ahead, with the heat peaking over the weekend. 115 forecasted highs for some of our county or desert communities. Borrego Springs, I just checked, with a high of 117 for your Sunday. So that is some extreme heat there. A big reminder to take it easy out there. If you have to be in the sun, take breaks, drink plenty of water, wear that sunscreen. Make sure plants and pets have adequate water, and you stay hydrated, of course, yourself as well. Not just warm in our deserts, though. We're going to be in the 80s out at the beaches. That is well above normal. Inland Valley seeing temperatures in the low to mid 90s. So I hope you were able to enjoy the cooler temperatures today, at least comparatively. Today was the coolest day of the week and a little cooler than yesterday. Here's that temp change over the last 24 hours. Most places about 1 to 6 degrees cooler compared to this time yesterday. Downtown San Diego, we're looking live from our Hilton Bayfront camera, 65 degrees at this hour, so it is a little chilly, especially by the water. We are seeing that marine layer beginning to make its way back on shore. Current temperature 66 in Julian, same thing in El Cajon. Low 60s along the water here, 60 in Vista, 65 for you in Alpine, and still a very warm 88 degrees for you in Borrego Springs. Tonight, again, another pretty mild night. Mostly clear skies away from the coast. We are going to see a little bit of that low cloud coverage along the coast, sticking mostly to our coastline tonight, though, and that's going to clear out very quickly tomorrow as our temperatures begin to warm up through the afternoon. The coast getting into the mid-60s tonight, mid-50s for our inland valleys, mountains in the upper 50s in the deserts. A warm one staying in the 70s tonight. Next 7 days looks like this. We can watch those temperatures really begin to swing as we head towards the weekend. 75 on the coast tomorrow, but 80s for Saturday, Sunday, Monday of next week. Inland valleys, mid-80s tomorrow, jumping into the 90s for your Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Mid-90s for some of our inland valley locations. Mountain areas, 88 degrees tomorrow, well into the 90s for you as well. Upper 90s, looking at 98 degrees. Desert communities, again, this is where we are really talking about the heat. Excessive heat warning again Sunday, Saturday through Monday. So try to stay cool out there, everybody. Kathleen?
Yeah, trying to stay cool, the operative phrase there. Thank you so much. A quick shout out to Wendy now from Oceanside. You are tonight's Fox 5 Friend of the Day. If you want to be our Friend of the Day, it's easy to do. Go to any of our social media pages or website and enter. You could win a gift card to Jerome's, where all showrooms have reopened. After several months overseas, not one, but 2 San Diego-based Navy ships have returned. Plus, the one thing that forced SpaceX to cancel a highly anticipated launch today. And tennis pro Coco Vandeweghe returns to competition this weekend, and Troy Hirsch is up next with where she will play for the next month and why she says she has to play in the U.S. Open.
You're watching the Fox 5 News at 10.
Closed captioning brought to you by Jerome's Furniture. Thank you from Jerome's.
The $20 Familia Dinner. Wherever summer takes you, enjoy it together. From El Pollo Loco.
We've always put safety first. And we always will. For people. For the future. And there has never been a summer when it's mattered more. Wherever you go, summer safely. Get 0% APR financing for up to 5 years on select models and exclusive lease offers.
If your credit card debt is out of control, if you're in over your head in monthly payments, there's a secret the credit card companies don't want you to know. If you have more than $10,000 in credit card debt, you have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. That's bad news for the credit card companies, but it's great news for you. We're Credit Associates, and we're offering you free information on how to completely resolve your credit card debt with a monthly payment you can afford. To see how much you could save, call now. 1-800-919-1278. Don't declare bankruptcy. Don't consolidate. Give us 10 minutes and we could save you thousands. After all, we depend on your success and offer a guarantee so there's no risk to call. Credit Associates. Live better, debt-free. Find out how easy it is by calling now. for the secret the credit card companies don't want you to know? Call Credit Associates now and see how much money you could save for free. Call 1-800-919-1278.
Rest and refresh at the Revive 4th of July event, only at Living Spaces, where you'll find the best mattress deals. For a limited time, save up to $700 on select Tempur-Pedic sleep systems and up to $400 on select Stearns & Foster mattresses. Or save up to $700 on the Revive Freedom mattress and get 2 free organic latex pillows. Plus, pay no interest for 2 years on select purchases with your good credit. Only at the Revive Sleep Center inside Living Spaces.
Living Spaces.
Chrissy Russo, Fox 5 Morning News.
Enjoy a taste of summer with summertime tostadas. Made with fresh, in-season ingredients. From El Pollo Loco.
What are they watching now?
Please tell me there's a happy ending to this.
Find out on an all-new Celebrity Watch Party, Thursday on Fox. You're watching the Fox 5 News at 10.
We have some breaking news. Fox 5 has just learned Glee star actress Naya Rivera is missing and may have drowned. Authorities say she went boating and swimming on Lake Piru in Ventura County with her 4-year-old son today, and when a rented boat was overdue to be returned, staff were able to find the boat with her son on board, but not Rivera. The search for the 33-year-old has been called off for the night and will continue tomorrow. Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, who was a key witness in President Trump's impeachment inquiry, is retiring from the Army. Vindman's lawyer says he made the decision because his future in the military will forever be limited because of political retaliation by the president and his proxies. The attorney cited a, quote, campaign of bullying, intimidation, and retaliation, which was led by President Trump. Vindman had testified that President Trump's push for Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden was inappropriate. The president fired him from the National Security Council. The USS Bunker Hill and the USS Russell returned to their home port here in San Diego today after a nearly 7-month deployment. The ships are part of the Theodore Roosevelt Carrier Strike Group. The Navy says they have been conducting maritime security operations in the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Welcome home. Bad weather for SpaceX to cancel today's launch attempt. This is the second time in the past 2 weeks they've had to call it off. No new date has been decided. When it does lift off, the Falcon 9 rocket will carry satellites that hope to eventually provide low-cost internet access to underserved areas.
Now, Fox 5 Sports from the Toyota Dealers Sports Desk.
A second Padres player has tested positive for COVID-19, and the latest result comes from infielder Jorge Mateo, whom the Padres just acquired from the Oakland A's. Due to the late trade, Mateo had his intake test delayed, but the good news, he has not practiced at all with his new Padres teammates and is self-isolated so as not to affect anyone else. He joins outfielder Tommy Pham, who also came out positive on his intake test. Both Padres players will now need to have 2 negative tests at least 24 hours apart before they can join their teammates in practice. Across Major League Baseball, fewer than 2% of all players have tested positive, and most of the Padres, including closer Kirby Yates, say they feel good about how the team and Major League Baseball has handled their health.